Let me start by congratulating the Nigerian workers for their resilience, perseverance and commitment to the development and growth of Nigeria, year in, year out, with many like me working, even when it is supposed to be a holiday, but duty calls. And I'm here to serve my fatherland as an essential worker. Kudos to workers in Nigeria. We are proud of you. Now, May Day, also called Workers' Day or International Workers' Day, is a day set aside to commemorate the struggles and gains made by workers and labor movement, which dates back to 1889, a day in support of workers by an International Federation of Socialist Group and trade unions in commemoration of the Haymarket Affair, a violent confrontation that took place on May 4, 1886 in Chicago. Hence, May 1 was designated May Day, and it is observed in many countries. As Nigerian workers join the rest of the world to mark the day with the theme, Workers' Rights and Socio-Economic Justice, the NLC President Joseph Ajaero calls for deeper protection of the rights and privileges of workers to ensure a greater economic justice, social justice, which will lead in building a nation that is more cohesive and stand the forces of this integration. The president tells workers that the strength is in standing together, both as workers and as a people. As it is, the program will focus on the Nigerian worker and the rights for social justice. I am Eucharia Clinton. Welcome to the program. Honored to discuss the social justice for Nigerian workers. With me in the studio is Comrade Adebayo Aderuba, Deputy National President, Food, Beverage and Tobacco Senior Staff Association, FOB-TAB. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's my pleasure being here.
Okay, we'll just, set the ball rolling by asking, just like I mentioned earlier, social justice for Nigerian workers. Putting Nigeria in view in the Nigerian context right now, what do you mean by that?
Yes, if we are talking about social justice for workers in Nigeria, all over the world, we should be thinking of the welfare package for the worker in terms of earning the living wage. A workplace must be an environment that is conducive for you to actually work, for you to be able to do your deliveries. The workers must, as a matter of fact, we get our right as far as workers' right is concerned. So we should be thinking about minimum and living wage, a work environment that is safe, because it is when you go to work and you are able to return home safely, that is a safe work environment. That is still part of social, social justice for the workers. So that is exactly what we mean when we are talking of.
So you just mentioned some instances. Now, how close is Nigeria to achieving this?
We shouldn't forget the fact that Nigeria is a signatory to ILO conventions, which is being domesticated here in Nigeria for all workers for implementation. So in Nigeria, we are a little bit far away from it, but we are not doing badly, in the sense that, once a international convention is domesticated, the next thing is the implementation. And we have the Ministry of Labor as a superintendent overseeing the, effective implementation of this international convention we are talking about. So the enforcement from the part of labor, from Ministry of Labor, is still a little bit behind what it's supposed to be. So that is why we can reasonably confirm that we are still a little bit far away from it. For instance, I'm from the private sector. What is expected in the manufacturing, setup, you must have what we call GMP, good manufacturing practice. So each of the company under the manufacturing system have to comply with safety and regulation. Occupational and safety of workers are very, very paramount, and they are the overseer. The question now is, how soon or how well is the Ministry of Labor that's supposed to be going around to ensure that these practices are implemented in the various companies we have in Nigeria? How effective are they? How many times do they come around to check? So that is the challenge. And the more reason why on part of us as the labor leaders, we ensure that our employers actually comply to those ethics, rules and regulations that governs work environment for a safe work environment.
Now, the Director General of the International Labor Organization, in his remark for the May Day here in Abuja, he said, we must review laws and regulations affecting the world of work so that they are relevant and up to date and able to protect workers and support sustainable businesses. Now, how important is this? Like you just talked about monitoring and the rest of them. Is it important to review the already existing laws or make new ones, or even the implementation of the existing ones?
Well, the implementation of the existing one is very paramount. And, most of these laws actually needs to be reviewed, because talk about the labor law in Nigeria. It's very, very moribund. So we need to have a look at it to know how we can review it to meet the current standard as far as International Labour Convention is concerned.
Okay, I understand you of a body, the Deputy National President, Food, Beverage and Tobacco Senior Staff Association. Is a good thing you are from the private sector. And most of the issues, like irresponsible business owners indulging in unethical practices, is paramount, or is very, very, can be seen easily being practiced by the private sector. So what is the organization doing to ensure that workers' welfare are being protected, especially in the private sector?
Yes, you see, one thing about employers is this: if you leave them alone, definitely they will do what actually suits them most. But being a partner in progress, we always put them on their toe to make sure that all rules and regulations that affect the manufacturing sector is being adhered to. Here you'll be talking about PPE equipment, that is personal safety equipment. You must make it available for workers so that the work environment could be safe for them to be able to deliver. It is when you work and you are able to go back home, that is when you are earning, your productivity can be enhanced. So you wouldn't want to come to work and you fall into a situation in which maybe one finger is cut off. And then, so those are the things we are, out to actually, let our employers see. And I'm telling you, as a matter of fact, they are trying their best possible to make sure that, these rules and regulations are complied with.
Yes, you just talked about, okay, you're talking about the staff now. Now, there are some group of workers that are called the casual staff that sometimes they are being relegated to the background. As a matter of fact, they are even treated, like some of them say in their own words, that they're being treated like modern-day slaves. So how has the organization been able to protect these crop of people?
It's a great challenge. It's a great challenge. And I must tell you, we are not resting on our house. For instance, what you just mentioned is one of the evil effects of globalization. And we cannot run away from it because we are part of the world. But the issue now is, how do you make sure that this set of workers, their rights are being protected? it's a long battle, and we have started it. As I speak with you, both in the food sector that I come from, both the junior and the senior staff, FOPTOP that I am a member, and then NUFBTE, our junior counterpart. As we speak, we are at the Ministry of Labour with our employer to actually fashion out, way out for us to bring this crop of workers into our fold so that their rights can be protected. Already we've submitted a proposal, it's a tripartite, action. The employer on one side, the junior workers and the senior worker on the other side. We are at the Ministry of Labour. Very soon we'll sign that agreement that will actually accommodate all the casual workers in our industry for them to be able to have a fear of protection from their work. Are
they part of the organization?
They are part of the organization, whether we like it or not. Even if it's, like I said, it's a fallout from globalization. Then we will have a situation where you have contractors having workers that are working under the main company. You do get what I'm saying? So that is just it. So since they are a contributor to the progress and delivery of a particular company, definitely their interest should be protected, whether they belong to a third-party contractor or not. So that is exactly what we are talking about.
Okay, now taking a look at the Nigerian workers and how far they have been faring in their contribution to the socio-economic and development of Nigeria. What would be your take on that?
Well, Nigerian workers are resilient. We are committed. Look at you. You leave your family at home. You are here now, doing your duty as it's supposed to be. So to tell you that we are a contributor to the productivity in Nigeria. Without we workers, there cannot be any Nigeria, there cannot be any production. And when there's no production, the country is not existing. So we are committed and giving our best to make sure that we develop this entity called Nigeria.
So what would you say to those that are not committed? Because as much as we are committed, there are people that are not committed, are cutting corners in this job. So what are you saying about this group of people, and what are you also doing to ensure that they stand up to their duties?
Anyway, it is the beauty of labor is for you to be able to put in your contribution, and when the outcome actually comes, you'll be able to say yes, I'm happy because I am a contributor. I'm a contributor to this very output. So I enjoy those workers who are not doing that, to imbibe the spirit of having commitment and give your best to Nigeria and the various sectors that we actually come from in Nigeria as workers.
Thank you very much. Let's take a break here, and the program will continue in a moment. Just stay.
The implementation of the ruling is also dependent on another aspect or another arm of government.
Nowhere in the world will allow, under digital economy, for banks not to be dispensing domestic currency in that economy.
What will make this one different?
We want to know what they do as occupation. All of these are attributes that are questions have been designed to investigate.
In a few days to come, you see that we are all around their own crannies and everywhere in Nigeria, telling people to cooperate.
Welcome to Nigeria Today. Welcome back. It is still Nigeria Today, and I'm still here with Comrade Adebayo Aderoba. So before we went on break, you've mentioned some of the some of the issues and some of the areas you also want the Ministry of Labour to beef up their activities. Now talking about as much as you also said that the Nigerian workers are committed to their work, we see a lot of them going out of the country. We have brain drain. People moving out. What the common slang I really don't want to use it right now, but it's becoming part of our vocabulary here, you know, the syndrome. So how can the incoming government, you know, trying to avert this so that we'll have a better workforce?
Well, concerning that, you know, we can't deny the fact that we have the best, you know, of human resources in Nigeria. But the issue is our economy. Is it conducive for everybody to be able to operate freely? The answer is no. Then the government needs to do a lot in terms of creating an enabling environment.
Like what areas? What areas? Just wanted to.
For instance, now,
okay,
you look at the unemployment situation in Nigeria. You know, according to statistics, it's about 33% now, if I'm not mistaken. So this needs to be taken care of, and we can only do that if the economy is developed very well. In terms of infrastructure, let's provide the infrastructure that will enable a developed economy. So once that is done, then all sectors of the economy need to be looked into critically and developed, you know, based on, you know, delivery. You must set a target that must be delivered, that must be achieved. Once we are able to have that, we'll have a developed economy. And once the economy is developed, then more jobs will be created for people, and then this issue of brain drain will definitely stop.
However, the president-elect has assured Nigeria of better minimum wage, social and economic justice, in fact, better living standard, you know, and
I just pray we'll be able to live up to his promises. You know, we will continue praying for him so that when he comes in, he should be able to do that. Once he's able to achieve that, definitely there will be turnaround in the economy.
Of course, we can look at his antecedents in Lagos.
But it's going to be, you know, a distant or a far away from rhetorics. It has to be practicalized. Let's see how this is being done. We'll continue to pray for him, let him come in, and let him be able to turn, you know, the economic around.
Yes, you talked about the Ministry for Labor, what they would do, but you did not really mention exactly what the employers, the other stakeholders in this, you know, in this area, what they are supposed to do to make it convenient for the worker to have a better working environment, good workers' welfare, and also the workers to contribute also, because some of them don't talk. They prefer to be silent about what you're going through. So tell us what they should do for those of them that are still not part of any union. Nobody speaks for them. They are just there. Some of them are just dying in silence. So
I think the Nigerian situation is just a peculiar one, in the sense that, you know, every employer needs to be responsible. And I will not shy away from that fact. Everything still boils down and will be placed on the table of Ministry of Labor. For instance, they are the one regulating, you know, the activities of workers and employers. For instance, if you have, you know, dispute with employers, the Ministry of Labor is always the first point of call to say, let us see how we can mediate to resolve the difference before it will escalate into, you know, a bigger one, maybe sit out, maybe strike action. So the Ministry of Labor is always the first point of call to resolve any industrial conflict. So they should be able to live up to their responsibility in terms of their supervisory function. Once they are able to do that, you know, definitely no employer will want. And one thing about employer is, you know, Nigerian economy, whether we like it or not, is some foreigners are here, despite, you know, the challenges they have with our, you know, security. Many companies are still here in Nigeria operating because we have the market. We have the market. So the Ministry of Labor should be able to live up to their responsibility to make sure that those foreign employers or even local employers complied with labor law you know, the labor law is that despite the fact we are saying it is due for review, but it's actually, you know, a textbook for us to be able to regulate a relationship between workers, employers, and government on the other side. It's a tripartite action. So which the limits, no employer, you know, one thing about, you know, the capitalists is that they didn't want to know whose source is God once they are able to make their profit. But it's our function as union leader to put them on their toes. And whenever they didn't want to, you know, comply or listen to us, we have Ministry of Labor there as an advocate to come in and mandate between our difference. We are not shying away from our responsibility in telling our employers that you should do the right thing. So the same thing should be applicable to every company that operates in Nigeria. Ministry of Labor have the record of every company we have in Nigeria. So they should be able to, you know, track, implement, and follow up to ensure that we have a conducive working environment, irrespective of the sector across Nigeria.
Now, as you were talking, something just came to my mind. There are some companies that it is forbidden for their workers to belong to any kind of union. And this is the only way their voices can be heard, in case of any injustice. So how can these workers, you know, be, will I say, attended to in the event of any kind of, injustice or discrimination, or, if they are a victim of any unethical practice?
I get what I'm trying to get at. The issue now is we have 2 labor centers in Nigeria, the NLC, the TUC. Each of these labor centers actually have an affiliate that is peculiar to a sector. For instance, I'm from the food beverages. There are some health workers. It is the responsibility of each of these affiliates to ensure that any company that falls under their jurisdiction should be organized. From the way the union operates, we actually set aside a special fund for organizing. Organizing is a process in whereby a company or an outfit that does not belong to a union are brought in. It is one of our top priority, especially in my sector. I can tell you a reasonable number of companies has been organized and brought in into our fold now. So it is the responsibility of the affiliate to actually, carry that out in each of the sector they belong to. I don't want to be specific, at least for this year.
Yeah.
Or last year to this year, I know how many numbers of new companies that we have organized into our fold in the food sector. So it's the responsibility of an affiliate to actually make sure that has been done.
Okay, so in one word, what does Nigerian worker want, whether private, whether public, in one word, or in summary?
In summary, social justice and equity, living wage, a conducive work environment that is very safe, that you are able to come to work and return to your family safe at the end of the day. We don't want a situation in which you come to work and before you know it, one finger is chopped off. So that is exactly what the Nigerian workers actually desires.
Thank you very much, and that's it on Nigeria Today. But before we go, we'll appreciate our guests, Comrade Adebayo Aderuba, Deputy National President, Food, Beverage and Tobacco Senior Staff Association, FOTTAL. Thank you very much for your contribution.
It's my pleasure.
And to you, our viewer, thank you for always being there. Don't forget, Nigeria Today air weekdays and at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can watch this and other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24. Once again, thank you for watching. I am your carrier, Clinton. Goodbye.
10 years or thereabout. This ceremony brings all of us together, old and young, and we communicate, we commune, we rejoice with one another. And that is the essence of this ceremony. Apart from the issue of church service, parties and all that, but some of my friends I've seen in the last 7 years, I saw them during this program. Some of them I've not seen in a long while. We come together and we rejoice together. And that is the essence of this ceremony.
It is only what the whites brought to us that determines who you are.